Welcome. This is Micah Fairchild, Editor-in-Chief of HRLab.com, and today our topic centers on human resource management systems. Specifically, we're going to be discussing the top 10 solutions we've seen in the HR software industry, and this is the first installment of our two-part series on these products. And to help flesh out what the competitive differentiators are, I'm joined today by my colleague, Chuck Schieffer, the CEO of Vantiv Media. Hello, Chuck. How are you today?
I am good, Micah, and I'm looking forward to discussing these solutions today, if for no other reason than to compare our analysis and ideas of what makes for a great HRMS solution.
Well, all right, then I say we get right down to it. So the big talk of the town right now is certainly on Workday. From my perspective, there's really three areas that stand out when we're talking about the solution. One, they deliver a fully integrated SaaS solution that's equally adept at working with business, financial, workforce data. Second, though slow to start, the newer sophistication in their mobile HR capabilities is pretty impressive, especially with regard to their manager self-service feature set. And third, the user interface is practically unrivaled in the HR software space. What do you think? We on point with Workday?
Well, good points for sure, but I think there are a few additional things that give Workday unique positioning and competitive advantage. For one, Dave Duffield and company have managed to create a multi-tenant database SaaS architecture that is a rarity within the market space that is often characterized by legacy and out-of-date applications. For another, Workday is setting the pace for the industry in terms of innovation. Though not all of their updates are groundbreaking, the fact that they're on pace with 3 releases annually is what the rest of the HR software industry is trying to catch up to. And also, Workday is probably the first company to successfully leverage in-memory computing, which greatly increases the speed at which processing occurs. Of course, Workday is not the only one that can lay claim to in-memory computing anymore. That's why I've also got SAP at the top of my list for HRMS solutions as well. With their HANA in-memory application, it's hard to deny that they've officially matched Workday in that capability. Plus, SAP easily has the most robust business intelligence software on the market, with capabilities for very configurable dashboards, data mining, data warehousing, and predictive analytics, all of which are specifically designed with a presentation layer that is equally accessible by business analysts and IT pros alike.
I hear you on SAP. Their on-premise HCM suite is definitely on the top of my list as well. I'd also add, though, that this latest SuccessFactors acquisition adds some serious weight in the cloud department to their offering. And not only that, but SAP is one of the only companies that I know of that cultivates such a refreshingly honest network of implementation experts, their SAP Mentor network. It's seriously surprising how truthful these folks are and how transparent SAP as a company has to be in order for that resource to flourish. Of course, if we're going to be talking about SAP, it's only prudent that we talk about Oracle as well. And for my money at least, Oracle's Fusion apps right now hold the most promise at least, of any of the HRMS solutions on the market right now. Much like SAP, they've got business intelligence and analytics embedded into virtually every aspect of their HCM solution. They've got definitely the best enterprise information security in the industry that allows for a truly granular approach. And let's face it, they've got a pedigree and brand weight that allows them to more easily experiment, trial out combinations of what works and what doesn't for their customers.
Agreed. I see Oracle rather ironically as the dark horse in this whole battle of modern HRMS. A big reason, though, for me that Oracle could well wind up on top once all is said and done is the flexibility in the delivery and consumption of IT services that they're giving their customers. Customer choice of on-premise, hosted by Oracle, hosted by a third-party data center or public network, or any combination thereof, even has Gartner saying that this may well be the best deployment model for the foreseeable future, particularly for organizations that desire to migrate to the cloud in an incremental fashion. And of course, now that Oracle has wrapped up their purchase of Taleo, they possess a host of integrated best-of-breed HCM applications, making them a serious threat to would-be contenders that have less than stellar offerings in their HR and payroll software portfolios. Speaking of would-be contenders, we're hearing more and more about Ultimate Software. What's your take on this company?
Oh, Ultimate, yeah, their UltiPro solution has been racking up a lot of press lately, and I really think for good reason. For one thing, the company has finally embarked, on a brand strategy that's getting the name out there. They've always had an impressive, albeit somewhat antiquated product, but now they're getting the news out about the fact that they've got a 96% customer retention rate, a ridiculously well-documented set of studies from IDC and Nucleus Research that highlight these ROI figures of upwards of 300%, and a concerted strategy to transition from what they had, which was a wholly on-premise solution, to what they're going towards now, which is a multi-tenant SaaS solution.
They're also sharing some strong customer success points, and I think some of that may be coming from Ultimate's online social community and the UltiPro Ideas Portal, which is a customer-driven think tank fostering discussions on feature sets that have wound up netting 200 implementable suggestions for Ultimate's product roadmap. SAP may have an impressive network of mentors, but very few companies are doing what Ultimate is with regard to client network development and assertively seeking out customer suggestions. Of course, Ultimate isn't the only one cultivating strong customer relationships, and one of the solutions that I want to make sure we get to in that respect is NewView. I mean, here is a relatively unknown but powerful global HRMS that is clearly on top with its client base. Granted, it's in the middle of a rather arduous process of updating some legacy software, but the international capabilities and fact that the web-native solution has been built up slowly by focusing on developing best-of-breed modules for benefits administration and payroll has more than proved its place in my top 10 list.
I couldn't agree more. I'd be willing to wager that more than a few of our viewers have yet to even hear of NewView, which I think is really unfortunate. You mentioned international capabilities, and from my vantage point, NewView solution has probably one of the most robust international feature sets on the market. In fact, their international regulator functionality, multiple language features, localization of forms, that, in my opinion, is second to none with the NewView solution.
Agreed. But there are still a number of HCM, HR, and payroll software solutions that are still excellent and could be an even better fit for particular organizations than the ones we've just discussed. Workday, SAP, Oracle, Ultimate, and NewView are impressive products with their own unique competitive differences. But I think we still need to cover Kronos, Lawson, Sage, Ceridian, and Metaphor.
And we definitely will. But since we're almost out of time already, I'd say that actually brings us to a great point in our conversation to pause for now. So Chuck, excellent thoughts as always. Thanks for joining us in our conversation about human resource management systems. And be sure to tune in next time as we review 5 more HR management solutions that we've handpicked to be the best all-around applications.